What's up guys, it's Missy. I am back with another SimCity Build It video. We're going to be doing a walkthrough of the contest of mayors. This is somebody's choices, somebody who's in my training course. These are her choices. We're going to go through them. I'm going to explain where she went wrong, the mistakes she made, and give you guys yet again another, basically a walkthrough so you guys can see what you should be doing and all that. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's just jump into it. First thing you always do whenever you start your week off is your task assessment. Okay, now you know that she's level 25, as you can see here on the screen. She has a little bit of experience left in her bar, which means that she could do house upgrades if she had to. Okay, that means she has 40 factory slots that she can utilize if she gets factory production. She has the ability to use gold tokens, which is also good. She can get those shop productions done pretty quickly. Okay, so now that we've set the scene, that's what we call setting the scene, now we can go to our task assessment. Task assessment, listen very closely. A task assessment is where you go through and you say what you know about each task. A task breakdown is where you mark that task main, rotatable, no touch, cancel. Okay, we can do both at the same time. It makes it go quicker. So let's do our task assessment. Okay, zoom in here. We've got a upgrade war card for 3,000 points. Because this task exceeds the 2K amount, we would refer to this as a main task. So we're going to put an M next to it. Okay, now you guys won't be able to see that on my screen here, but this is what you would do if it was your list. You would put an M next to this because it exceeds 2,000 points. You can actually complete that. It's not something you have to leave sit. So that is your main task. Okay, moving down the list, she has a submit design challenge for 2,500. Now, this particular task, usually more often than not, if canceled or even completed, it seems to come back around once it's already in your list. So you have to be really, really, really careful if you cancel it, okay? Because it could come back. So try to put off canceling this task for as long as possible. But if you feel that it's blocking certain things from coming in, then you should try to at least try one cancellation and see if you can get it out of your list. Okay, the next thing is, and that would be marked as a main / no touch / cancel, meaning you don't really have to mark it as a main. You should mark it as a no touch cancel, but you need to be aware that the place value is high. So if you have to put it in red lettering, to remind you like, hey, this is a really high place value sitting here, then you need to do that. Okay, so moving on, we have a launch monster for 2,000. Now this one is always in your list. That's what we know about this one. It is at 2,000 points, so she will need to rotate that in. It is considered one of the main tasks because it's something that she's going to do, relatively soon. So those are her three main tasks. Usually you have three main tasks in your list. Now, moving down the list, going what we know based off textiles, is that these take 3 hours to prep. And they're only asking for one round because she has 40 slots unlocked on her factories, so she could do that in basically 3 hours. So now, depending on what she has prepped, and my guess is she probably has feed prepped, being said the textiles are only at 1360, I would hold off on prepping these just yet, okay? But we are going to mark it with an R because it is a rotatable task. Usually it doesn't, come back a whole lot, so it is a good way to open something up if you need to. Okay, coins. This is a last resort rotatable task, so you can put LR next to it, meaning if you have no other rotatable options, this is a good task to kind of shake things up a little bit and basically open things up for maybe a couple of tasks, and then usually it does come back. But you can kind of shake things up a little bit, and sometimes it doesn't come back for a really long time. So it just kind of depends. But you want to resort to coins as a last resort option. Usually at this point you have a lot of non-premiums that are low value that you can't rotate, and you rotate in coins because the opportunity isn't absolutely terrible. Okay, moving on. We have grass at 1280. Now this is a rotatable task. It has good opportunity, so we can see rotating it, relatively soon. That being said, whatever she has prepped in her garden shop, like let's say she prepped saps, then what she would want to do is she would want to collect one sapling and place down one grass, okay? And just keep cycling them out one at a time. That way, if in the time that she ends up doing other tasks, if she were to get a saps task, she didn't, collect them all at once. She can go back, not do the grass just yet, and then do the saps. So prepping the grass one at a time is what I would advise. Moving on down the list, she has a lunch legendary for 1200. This task is a high premium task, meaning it has the ability to be worth 3600 points. It can only be done during an active war or against the monster. Okay? So, that being said, it is something that you are going to want to clear pretty quickly, because it has the ability to open up something pretty good. Opportunity is high. Okay? Moving down the list, we have a repair disaster zones at 1200. That being said, that is a no touch. Pretty much you're not going to touch that until you get to your tickets where value trumps opportunity. Okay? Because what happens with this task is it usually comes back almost right away. And eventually it's going to come back around for the same 1200, and you will have opened up no opportunity and lowered your average and basically just wasted a bunch of time in tasks. And that goes the same for keys as well. If they do not exceed if they are not 1600 points or higher, then you do not touch them until your tickets. Okay? Alright, moving on to the bottom half of her list. She has an upgrade old townhome at 1200. This is excellent because now we know for sure that it's not going to come in for the 3600. So we can basically cross that off and mark that as a no touch. Not a no touch cancel, because we're not ever going to cancel it, but a no touch. Okay? All the other ones we would have marked as R's up until this point. Now, the epic points at 1200. This is also a rotatable task. It is non-premium, however, it usually comes back about 3 times and then stays away for a while. Okay? So it is a good opportunity to open something. As I said before, with the repair and the keys, they're pretty much the exact same, except for keys open better opportunity for longer and usually come back in worth 2k or higher. So if you have to pick between repair and keys, you would pick the keys. Now, she has a delivery at the bottom for 1000. This is a premium task. It can be worth up to 3000 points. And usually when you do a 1000 point task, the game will try to level you out, right? So when you do a 1000 point task, more often than not, you get a 3000 point task next time, right? Because it's trying to even out for the points that you kind of missed out on. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started on her selections here. Okay? So, this would have been her first choice. Number 1, War Card. Okay, 3000 points. It's the highest in her list. It brings the highest value opportunity and opportunity. So, for those of you who are not familiar with the Contest of Mayors map or math, I will be putting videos out about the CoM math. It's super easy, and it makes understanding your choices so much better. Okay, so she did the war disaster and she got a 800 Paris. So obviously 800 is lower than the other options she has in her list. So moving down the list, we would assess it and we would say the 2500 design challenge is not doable, so we're going to cross that off for the time being. The next highest value task in her list is the monster for 2000. This does need done because it's at the 2000 points place value. He is there because she did it. Okay, so she got the monster done. Then she gets shoes for 1760. This now becomes her highest rotatable task, so she completes the shoes. Okay, now she gets lawn chairs for 1760, which she completes because it's her highest task. Now she gets 1680 cement. So this should be her next choice because it is the highest and it still does open up good opportunity. But she went with a launch legendary attack. So this is mistake number 1. Okay? Now, it wasn't a horrid mistake because of the fact that basically CoM math would what we would do if we were looking at this in a CoM math format is we would say legendary attack. We would write it on paper. Legendary attack versus cement. Okay? And then we would write out the values. And the cement is 1680. And the launch legendary is 1200. Okay? That being said, that is a 480 points difference. So we would compare that 480 points difference to the opportunity of basically doing the launch legendary attack versus the cement. And even though the legendary attack is slightly better opportunity, I still would have went with the cement because of the fact that it is, it does have that value opportunity with it as well because it's higher. And we still have plenty of time to get that legendary attack done. So that was her first mistake. Now, remember when I said the game kind of tries to level you out? She did a 1200 point task and she got a 3000 point launch VU, which she does. Then she gets a 1000 Tokyo's delivery. Okay? And she does the delivery over the cement. Now, this again was a mistake because the cement is still good opportunity, except for now she gave up 680 points this time around. So that was mistake number 2. Okay, now she gets glass for 520. It is 38 glass, so it can get done in 1 round, which is 5 hours. So what she would want to do is clear out the feed that she had prepped and start glass. Okay? And she would want to proceed on with doing her other tasks. You can't take all that downtime right now. So cement would be the correct choice here as it is the highest rotatable option, which she does that. Then she gets a 1600 launch common attack. This is also her next choice because it is a limited task. She can only do it during war or on a monster, and it's the highest rotatable option. That is the next choice. Now, she does a launch VU for 3K, and she gets a 800 war card. Now, at this point, I don't know if her glass is done yet, but if the glass is not done, then what she would want to do is she would want to look down the rest of her list. She has epic at 1200. She has grass at 1280. Her next highest option here that is rotatable would be the grass, because she wouldn't want to do her last rotatable option with coins when she has better opportunities there. So she does the grass, gets a 2000 delivery, which she does, gets a 3000 war card. Now she gets 800 on the caps. So she's got 800 caps, 800 on the attack, 1000 on the Tokyo delivery, and then she's got coins. Now, she should go with the 1000 on the delivery unless the glass is done. So she does the Tokyo delivery, 2K launch, 2500 war delivery, 1800 cargo. Now here, she gets a monster for 2000 points, but the monster is already gone. So he's stuck having to sit there, taking up one of her 2K place values. So she's got the design challenge for 2500 at a 2K place value, and she's got the monster at 2000. So far, 2 of her 2K placements are taken up. And you usually get about 4 of them. So she's got 2 more left. Okay, moving on. She picks caps for 800. This was a mistake. Okay, she should have went with the common war attack, being how war is a limited thing, or waited on the glass. I don't know how far away the glass was though. So she does the caps, and it gives her a Tokyo for 3,000. Okay, so now she gets a launch 1 VU. Okay, and she does the attack because VU came in for 1,000 points recently. You know, she doesn't want to clear it again because it just came in for a low value. So she needed to pick something else, but she went with the war attack like she should have. She got a 2K upgrade, now taking up 3 out of her 4 2K spots, and the upgrades are starting to roll in. Now this is pretty typical. You know, right around midway is when they start to usually roll in. Okay, so, being how she has some at the bottom that are worth a low value, she's not doing too bad. Now, she does her epic project at the bottom for 1,200, which, honestly, she should have done that back with the common war attack when I said 800 on the war attack. If she had the ability to do epics, she should have went with that way back then. Instead of that common war attack, she could have done the epic project. Okay, so now she does the glass. She gets a rare attack, which she does not do. She does launch disaster. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, I know why she did that. So what she was thinking was, since VU had been sitting for several tasks and the 1K task usually results in a 3K kickback, she was like, okay, I'll rotate the VU first and then do the war attack if nothing better presents itself, which it did, and she got paint, which was correct. Then she did her launch attack, which she got her 3K disaster, so yes, that's why she did that. See why you do that? Okay. War booster. Now, this one is something, the same deal. Usually it results in a 3K task in return because you're taking a 1K loss on your average. But, in this case, she had the monster there. That's why. Okay, so she had the monster there. She was able to open up one of her 2K placements. She got another 3K VU, and then she got a Latin upgrade, which was it's at 1,200, which is awesome. This now means that both of her really high upgrades, the ones that are a major risk for you, are both in there worth a low value, which is great. So she does the war booster, which is correct. She gets another launch VU for 2,000. Cream for almost 2,000. Now she gets an upgrade Paris for 3,000. Now, at this point, she has one of two options. She can either cancel the 3K right now and proceed on, or she can say, I've already got, you know, a Latin worth 1,200, Tokyo's in there for 2,000, Old Town's in there for 1,200. Maybe I should rotate something, see if I get another upgrade of a low, and hopefully of a low value, then do the cancellation. That's what I would have done. However, she went ahead and just canceled right away. Now this is more of a preference. If you want to test it and see if you can stack up some low upgrades without, you know, blocking too many things at once, that's more of a preference. That's what I would have done. I would have at least tried one rotation. Okay, so she cancels that, and she gets a 1K London building. So, I mean, at least it came in for a low value. That's good. And she does the 800 Paris. Now, at this point, she should have rotated in the textiles. Okay, those should have been prepped and done, and she should have got those rotated in. I'm not really sure why she has let that epic project sit, because she had it for 1,200 points. She could have done that 800 one. I probably would have done that because she already had the epic going anyways. but she may have figured, well, it's only 800 points, and if I open it up again and it keeps coming back, then I'll have to keep doing epics. So maybe she was trying to prevent that. It wasn't a horrible mistake, but, you know, something to watch for. Okay, so now she's got a 2K Paris, a 2K Tokyo, and a 2500 Submit Design Challenge. So she's got 3 out of 4 again taken up. Okay? Now, she does the textiles, which is good. She gets the launch disaster, and okay, so she's got nails for 840, right? Now, at this point, she's got nails for 840, epic for 800, okay? Then she's got coins, and that's about it as far as her rotatable options here. So I believe she went with the coins, try to probably shake things up a little bit, which is a good idea. She got a 280 ice cream, which she does. And then she gets the monster in her list, at least worth a low value this time, which is good. Now she does the nails. She does cargo, nails, cargo. Okay, cement. Now here she gets sugar for 1440. Okay, when sugar comes in, this particular task should never, ever, ever be done unless it is at 1600 points or higher. Reason for this is because it will come back, okay? And when it comes back, it's probably going to be worth a very low value again, and you're basically going to have dropped your average, and it will just come right back. And if it comes back worth a higher value, then you're just stuck having more downtime and having to do it again. I cannot tell you how many people make this mistake even after they've been told not to. Many, many, many people have been told this in my training course. There's a couple pet peeves or things that you guys should learn. Sugar and chemicals. Below 1600 points, do not do them. It is not worth it. It's not about finding the 4 hours to get it done and out of the way. It's about what happens after you do it, okay? It's about you think you're going to open something up, but you don't end up opening anything up. So if you're in a situation where you've got all these upgrades in your list, this is usually where people start doing stupid things like this. They have a whole bunch of upgrades in their list, and then they have all of the non-premiums in their list that are usually in their list all the time. Things like keys, repair, coins, monster, and then the rest are basically upgrades. And then they have like maybe 1 or 2 other options in their whole list that they can pick from. So they start to get desperate, and they start picking things like repair and keys and sugar. Don't do that, okay? If you want to open something up, there's no sense in taking a hit on your average, having that come back, and then having to take another hit later to fix your fuck up, okay? She should have canceled one of these 2K upgrades. She had very minimal chance that it would come back higher, and it could have opened up something really good. Now, she does the damn sugar later on, you know, throughout the week. So we'll just keep going, okay? So she's got the 2500 design challenge. She does that. Now her coins come back, and she does the coins, and then the attack. Now she does sugar. Now this was one of the stupidest things she could have done. She had a 2K launch war attack. Launch attacks in Club Wars. Now, I don't know if we were in war or not, but that doesn't matter. The point is, this should have never been touched at all. Okay? Ever. Because it's going to come back, and it's going to come back in worth probably the same value or lower, and then we'll just be right back where we started, right? Except for now lower on our average. So she does that, gets a 2K VU, does that. She gets metal, Now she gets chemicals for 1740. Now this is in the range, the points value range, where she needs to complete it. Okay, it's at 1600 or higher, so she definitely needs to get those done. Now she gets those done, which it was 2 rounds, so that took 4 hours. Then she does the design challenge upgrades, cancels the Tokyo upgrade like she should have done back when she did the sugar, and she gets her 3K board deliveries, which she's able to complete. She gets a 1200 coins, and she ends up doing her launch club wars. Now here she gets the upgrade Tokyo for 2000. She does the 800 epic, gets her 3000 VU, 1200 cargo. Wait, okay, see there she should have went with cargo. I don't know why she did coins there. It was 75 points higher, but cargo brings better opportunity. She's got the 3000 on the war card next. Okay. Now she gets the sugar for 1320. So it was there for 1440, and it came back for 1320. So now she opened nothing up by doing that sugar. It just came right back. Okay, so now she's going to end up doing the cargo, gets her 1600 points on her epic, does that, gets 2160 on the glass, which now she's down for 10 hours, because she has to do that one, which she does. She does her epic, planks. Now she's into her tickets. Now tickets, the rules of rotation, okay? The rules of rotation is that when you get to your tickets, value trumps opportunity, okay? So she's no longer picking her tasks in the format of what brings the best op. She's picking her tasks based on value. So the highest value, I mean, of course you're still going to want to think of opportunity to some extent, but more often than not, it's value. Okay, she does the minerals, she gets plastic, she does those. She gets a launch specific attack, which she does. Launch 3. Design challenge for 16. 3K VU. 2500 or 2300 launch war attack. 2400 design. 1700 on the chems again. And glass again. VU again. Okay, now right here, she does a rare war attack. Now, let me explain what happened here. Or she does the repair disaster zones. Let me explain what happened. So, she's got 20 hours and 17 minutes remaining, which means she did not make it to the point where I tell people what they need to do is basically get all tasks done by the time second war ends. That way, if you get something like this, you can actually do it. Now, what ended up happening is she had so much damn downtime from all the frickin' factory assignments, and she couldn't finish in time because she had almost 20 hours of just glass that she had to make. And then she had about 8 hours of chemicals that she had to make, and then she had the 4 hours with the sugar that she did. So a lot of her time was spent doing these really long factory tasks, and she probably wouldn't have opened up all of that drama for herself had she not touched that sugar originally. Okay, so at this point she still makes another mistake though. Because its value trumps opportunity, you still want to keep the opportunity in mind. She had a keys at the bottom for 1200, and keys brings better opportunity than repair, and usually comes in worth a higher value after it's been done, right? So she had absolutely no reason to pick the repair over the keys for the 1200. Okay, now she's got veggies for 1920, earned simoleons for 1200, launched disaster for 2,000, and that was it. So basically, what she did this week was she made one of the mistakes that I've probably talked about the most, one of the most talked about mistakes, especially the last few weeks in our training course, has been doing the keys prematurely, okay, when you're not supposed to, or doing repair over keys when keys open up such better opportunity than repair, and the no touching of the chemicals and the sugar, okay, because of this exact reason. This is the exact reason why we do not do this, okay? So if you're wondering why you don't do this, because it just comes right back. It gives you way too much downtime. It's not, like I said, it's not about the downtime of getting it done that one time. It's about getting it done multiple times. It's about opening up better opportunity for yourself. Because the sugar for 1440 was still substantially less than a 2K average, right? So she still took a really hard hit on doing the sugar in general. She could have taken basically extra 1,400 points off, but opened up much better opportunity by doing a cancellation than doing the sugar. Instead, she dropped her average 600 points, basically, 560 points to do the sugar, and then she ended up canceling the residential anyways, and then it ended up coming back. So she lowered her points, canceled inevitably anyways, and then it came back and took up the exact spot in her list that was there before, thereby blocking the opportunity that she was trying to unlock. So it was basically this vicious cycle, and she ended up right back where she started with much less points. And that, I've said this so many times. I can't keep saying this if people aren't gonna, listen. I don't know what to say, man. How many more times do you have to see the same thing happen? I had a guy this week. He basically did the same thing, okay, and it basically backfired on him, and it was the exact same situation, basically. So hopefully you guys have learned something. Hopefully eventually people will stop making this freaking mistake. And I will be doing the CoM math video tomorrow. Okay, good luck.